I'm not impressed by someone driving a fancy car. I'm only impressed by what's in your bank, and what comes into my bank is you and the rich local mlungu that helped you buy the apartment in an open relationship. Are you still dating the apartment guy? How come you have a boyfriend but you are still on the apps and going on dates? Any plans to have another baby? Maximum age gap you would allow in a relationship. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're most definitely welcome, and if you are a regular and individual who watches my channel each and every now and again, welcome back sis, welcome back to the Dolly's gang. Yes, I am back again with another video. You know me. So today's video is literally a get to know me tag, you know, because I've realized that, okay, since we hit 5k subbies over here, there's a lot of new people that don't know me, and I just want you guys to know me. So I'm going to start with a story time about my life story before I start answering your questions. So I'm a young South African girl, 30 years old today, but I'm gonna start with a backstory about my life. Okay, so I grew up in a small town called Malamulele. I like to call it a village. It's not a village, but I personally like to call it a village, so I call it Malamulele village. At first I was raised by my great grandmother, and when I was 5 years old I moved into my mother's house, and that is where I had been staying until my big age. I went to primary school in Mahlahla school, and I went to high school in EPP Minga. I know a lot of people don't know that. They probably think that I went to some fancy high school. I did not. I actually went to EPP Minga, and then after that I actually did not pass my matric. Well, I passed my matric with a diploma, and because I didn't know where to go, it happened that my brother was studying at University of Free State, so he helped me apply there, and I ended up doing, you know, BSc chemistry, and I failed, and I changed my course to the degree that I hold now that I don't want to talk about. So I ended up passing that particular degree, and I couldn't get a job in that degree. And so I was sitting at home for a very long time. I think I sat at home for like about 3 years without getting a job. And so after that, I'm just trying basically to summarize my life story, right? And so just when I reached the third year at home, sitting at home, and I was starting to lose hope, so I decided to make a plan and get myself out of there, because I was starting to feel depressed. I did not like being at home. I did not like staying at my mother's house anymore, simply because, you know, I just felt bad that my mom would wake up every day and go to work, and then she would come back and I'm just sitting there, you know, looking like a potato. I did not enjoy that at all. So I decided to do something about it. It was not my intention to move because of this thing that I did, but it happened to help me a lot. So I accidentally paid for Tinder Gold using my mom's account, and so I decided, you know what, since I've accidentally paid for it, I can't get a refund, so let me just utilize it. And I went on Tinder this one time, and I started speaking to this man that I didn't know, but he had super liked my pictures, so I gave him attention. And then after that, he started telling me about his job, and so he told me, hey, listen, you can come in and work as a temporary receptionist because my current one is about to go on maternity leave. And that was only because I had experience in being a receptionist, so I had gotten a few jobs while I was at home. I just would get them in Turndo and stuff, and the jobs would like not last long, because sometimes it would be temporary, sometimes they would just close down the company because there was cash flow problems. So there was always issues with my the kind of jobs that I found. But then this time around I found this job, and it happened to be in Johannesburg. So I took a leap of faith and I flew to Johannesburg. Well, I didn't fly, let me not lie. I took a bus to Johannesburg with 2 Machangani bags. If you know what a Machangani bag is, I might insert a picture over here. So I had 2 Machangani bags with all my life packed away, and I moved to Johannesburg, and I found myself staying with my cousin in a shack in Tembisa. And I stayed there for about 2 weeks, and then eventually this man that brought me to Johannesburg, he found me an apartment and he started paying for my apartment. And that's how I ended up on YouTube, because now I was in an environment where I could, you know, start a YouTube channel. I could do a lot of things. I know I could have done it while I was at home, but for me, it was very important how it looked. It was very important how it started and stuff like that. So I only started when I was in Johannesburg with my own apartment. So that's how I got my first apartment. He was paying for it for about 6 months, and then he stopped paying for it. He was like, no, you are getting a promotion at work. Yeah, I worked hard, by the way, because what happened was that when I was working at reception, the one lady approached me, and she was a sales rep, and she was like, hey, listen, I think you're too smart for reception. Would you like to come and work with me? And I said yes to her. I would love to work with you, because she was an amazing sales rep. She was actually the best sales rep of the branch. And so I was excited to work with this lady, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I couldn't believe that she would pick me out of all people, you know. And so because of that, they started looking for a new receptionist, and when the new receptionist came, I had to teach her the work. And so I got a promotion, and I started earning enough money to pay for my own, right? And so that's how he stopped paying for my rent and stuff like that. He was really proud of me for, you know, working hard and, you know, impressing everyone else in the company, and, you know, getting a well-deserved promotion. And by the way, at the time, him and we were not dating. We never dated. It just never worked out. We actually went on one date, and I realized that he was too old for me. And he just, you know, I think he also realized that I was too young for him. So it just never really worked. So we just decided to keep things professional. And I know this is not right to say on the internet, but it's something that's happened. It's my story, and that's how I ended up in Johannesburg. I'm not gonna come here and lie to you and say, hey, listen, I applied for jobs and I was called. Yes, of course I was applying for jobs, but I was not getting called. I even was doing interviews virtually, and I never got any of the jobs. But yeah, that was my gateway to getting to Joburg. And after that, I managed to get myself another job and another job and another job and another job by doing interviews. To be honest with you, I've never been rejected for an interview that I've gone physically. I've only been rejected for the ones that I did virtually during COVID times while I was still at home. I don't know why. I don't know if there's an explanation for that or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, but that's how it has been. Last year, I got my first apartment, and I also got my first car, by the way. And we're not going to talk too much on that. And so this is how we ended up here. I'm sitting here in front of you, and I'm trying to, you know, answer the questions that people have about my life online. So I had a bunch of people asking me questions, so I'm going to answer the questions. I actually asked people on Instagram and also on Anonymous. I'm going to start with these questions from here, and then I will go to the anonymous questions that I was asked, because I've realized that people could be a little bit shy, you know, to answer the questions. And that's my life story. Okay. Let me know if you want, you know, a detailed story time of how I ended up in Johannesburg, because I think it's a very interesting one. A lot of people will not even tell you what I tell on my platform. They will always sugarcoat things, but I don't do that. Okay, right. Okay, so the first question is, how do you balance being a mom and traveling? To be honest with you, if you don't have money, don't do it, because having a child requires you to have maybe a full-time helper, a lot of help. And also another thing that people don't realize is that, of course, I'm a single mom in my household, but then my son has a dad. He has a dad. He has a father that is very present in his life. So I guess when I'm not here, he's at his dad's, and we are co-parenting. I hope you get it. I hope that makes a lot of sense. It's either he's at my place or at his dad's place, especially during the school holidays. And also, if you've noticed, I do travel a lot during school holidays instead of, you know, during when he's still going to school, because, you know, I need to do homeworks. You know, my son is on the Cambridge syllabus, so they do require a lot of attention. They do require a lot more extra attention, especially when it comes to their work. They need to do a lot more work than, you know, a regular CAPS student. So it's really difficult. It's not easy, I must say, but then we try to make it work. I don't enjoy it when I'm not around during school times. I'm supposed to be a home teacher. He's got teachers at school, but at the same time, as a parent that has their kid in a Cambridge syllabus, you have to be, active. You're also learning. You're also at school. I feel like I have homework to do every day because they get a lot of homework. Oh my gosh, it consumes my whole life. And so that's why sometimes I get so busy that I don't have time to post on YouTube and posting online and stuff like that. If you see me posting online, it's because they are on holidays. If you see me posting online, it's because he's at his dad's, So that's how we manage to keep a balance between traveling and being a mom. So the next question is, I want to understand if you have a boyfriend, why are you still on the apps? Is it an arrangement? First of all, who said I'm in the apps? Anyway, I am not going to talk about my relationship. I did address this on my previous video, literally my previous vlog. I did say that I will not be talking about my relationship on social media anymore. So you choose whether am I single? Am I in a relationship? You decide. One thing about me, in 2025, I'm not going to explain myself. I'm not going to come here and announce my relationship and try to convince people that I'm in a relationship or not. I'm not agreeing nor disagreeing that I'm in a relationship. All I'm saying is that my private life will remain my private life in 2025. I will not be discussing relationships anymore, and I'm being serious about this. Okay, next question. How many countries and counting? Oh my gosh, this is crazy. This question makes me so excited because it just reminds me of the first time I actually left the country, which is funny. When I left the country for the first time, it was actually with my mom in 2012, when I was in grade 12. And I remember we went to Mozambique on a cruise ship. And it's even funny how even my first time clubbing was on that ship, the MSC ship. So it's just insane that my mom opened these doors for me and I didn't even realize. My mom has always liked things, and everyone in my dad's side of the family, they always tell me how I'm so like my dad. My dad used to, my dad is late, by the way. He died when I was 10 years old. And I'm still going to talk about him sometime. I think I really need to speak about my dad. And they tell me how much my dad used to be one of the first guys in the village to go onto an aeroplane to take a flight. And yet here I am today, and I enjoy being on a flight. I enjoy, this bougie lifestyle. They say my dad was so bougie. He used to dress in a very, respectable way and in a very fashionable way, and he would be dragging his suitcases to the airport and stuff like that. They said he was one of those guys. Okay, so now I understand why I'm like this. It's because of my dad. Anyway, so back to the question, how many countries? So I started when my ex took me to Switzerland to meet his family. That was my second time leaving the country. Okay, let's not count Mozambique. Let's leave Mozambique out of the picture. So I'm going to say I started in Switzerland when my ex went to introduce me to his family in Switzerland. And then the second country that I ever went to was Norway, when I dated a Norwegian guy and I went there. Guys, I know, it's kind of risky, but that's me. I'm not saying you should do it. Don't do it because it might not end well for you. But for me, I could do it, and I did it, And I was young and I was excited, and I was just crazy. Young people do crazy things all the time. Yeah, so, and my third one was when I went to Ireland. That was still with my Norwegian ex. He had gotten a job that side, so I had to go and see him. And because he was working at the time, I went to Ireland. Oh, and I also went to Ethiopia. I'm not going to count that. Okay, so it's Switzerland, Norway, Ireland, Ethiopia. And then I also went to Italy last year. So now we're on country number 5. And let me tell you something you don't want to know. We're about to clock number 6 very soon. Okay. One thing. Oh, and also Germany. Oh my gosh, we're about to clock number 7. This is insane. And I've done this in less than 3 years. Ciao. We about to clock number 7 very soon, sooner than you expect. Okay, so yeah, it makes me so happy. I absolutely love traveling. I wish I could travel for a living, but unfortunately life doesn't work like that. But I'm glad that I got to travel to Italy. I'm so excited to step into country number 7. The next question says, what was your dream job growing up? Oh my gosh, this is insane. I know you won't believe me, but I really wanted to be a vet. Yo, guys, the thing is, I really love animals. I love dogs. I didn't love cats back then, but I started loving cats when I was in Norway because, my ex had cats and we would chill with them and they would love me and they would cuddle me all the time. So now I really love cats as well. So I grew up loving dogs, and I used to have these 2 very fluffy German Shepherd dogs that got poisoned. I don't know by who. It's probably one of the neighbors because they hated the dogs. And so that was like really, hurtful for me. And I had to watch both of my dogs dying in front of me. So it just made me feel helpless. And I just always thought, you know what? If I knew how to help my dogs, I would have done that. I would have done just that. If I could prevent my dogs from throwing up in front of me and then shaking and then, releasing some white foamy stuff, I could have just probably saved my dog if I was a vet. So it started becoming a dream of mine to become a vet. But unfortunately, I did not make it. Unfortunately, the metric results said otherwise. Okay, I had 3 distinctions, but still, the marks were not enough. I had a diploma. With distinctions. People didn't know that was possible. They started seeing it with me. But anyway, on to the next question. Just one thing that indicates the guy has money on the apps. Decided to try again. LOL. Guys, to be honest with you, there is no guarantee that a guy has money on the app. And to be honest with you, for me, it's not even about the guy having money. It's about him being generous. Because there's a lot, I'm going to tell you this, there's a lot of men out there that have money, but they won't give it to you. There is a lot. If you know my story that I told last year regarding me getting an apartment and a car, I knew the guy had money, but I didn't expect him to do anything for me, simply because he was one of those guys that just seemed like he would never do anything for you. Like for me, I just went into it for love. And I feel like if you focus on the love part more than, trying to get money out of him, then maybe you'll end up getting a lot more. Because to be honest with you, I did not expect to get a car or apartment. I just loved him for him, and I just gave my all to him for no reason. I had no intentions. I just thought, he likes me and maybe let me like him back, because what can I do? At the end of the day, it's only natural for a woman who's being loved to love back. And that's exactly what happened with us, because at first, remember I told you guys that I did not like him at all. I was not feeling him after the first date, but he kept on pursuing me, and I decided, you know what, this guy, he's so consistent. He literally says good morning every morning, and he literally says good night every night. He calls me every day. I mean, what more could I ask for? Let me just give him the attention that he needs. I gave him the attention, and he gave me the world. Literally, he gave me the world. He gave me something that most women don't get. Like, women get bags, they get, jewelry, it's very rare to get an apartment. It's so rare that it's hard to believe that it actually happens. Like, if someone told me that, oh, he got me an apartment and a car, I'll be like, you're lying. But just because it happened to me, I'm like, oh, yeah, actually it does happen. It does happen just because it happened to me, but I know for a fact that it's hard to believe. Guys, just focus on loving the man, but also at the same time, be looking out for, does he have a property? Does he own a house? Does he drive a car? What kind of car is he driving? I mean, I would want to stay away from a guy that's driving a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW and he's renting an apartment in Munyaka or something like that, because you don't have your priorities right. I don't like men without right priorities, because why can't you just have a house and drive a Corolla? Why are you trying to show the world so badly that you've made it in life if you haven't actually? Because if you're renting, you haven't. I don't know, guys. Maybe I just overthink things. I don't want to suffer. I don't want to get into debt. I don't want a man who is in debt. I want a man that has a fat bank account. So I'm not impressed by someone driving a fancy car. I'm not impressed by that. I'm only impressed by what's in your bank and what comes into my bank as well. So that's the only thing I'm interested in. If you are driving a fancy car, good for you. Enjoy it while it lasts, because cars don't last forever. But at least properties do. Unless if a jealous person comes and burns it down. Just kidding. Anyway, the next question is, what do you do for a living? Guys, you all know I'm a student. I don't work. Okay, I'm working on something big, which I'm not going to mention on here, simply because people know how to jeopardize your things. But yeah, I am definitely working on something which is my own business while I study. What are your travel plans in 2025? Oh guys, I'm not even going to say that. I said it in my previous video that I don't want to talk about these things anymore, just because people will hold it against you when you say that you want to do certain things and they don't happen. So I'm not going to talk about it. But just know I do have a lot of travel plans this year. How's life in general? Life is good. I'm not gonna lie, life is good. It's good, but also it's hard sometimes. I'm not gonna mention the things that make life hard just because I don't want to get up close and personal. But in general, I would say life is good. Life is amazing. I'm looking healthy. I'm healthy, and I've got a lot going on for me. And that's the most important thing, because I feel like when I don't have anything going on, then I sink into depression easily. So I'm so happy right now that I have a lot going on. The next question is, are you still dating the apartment guy? Relationship question again. We're not going to talk about that. Let's not even go there, okay? The next question, no question, you want to see more vlogs from Johannesburg. Guys, I haven't even been vlogging. There is no single footage of me since I got back to Joburg. So guys, I'm only gonna start vlogging probably on Tuesday. So yeah, don't worry, it's all coming. Can I be a friend? To be honest with you, I don't want friends anymore. No new friends, no new friends, no new friends, no. Drake was right when he said no new friends, because wow, I feel like I attract toxic people. I am yet to find genuine people that are not toxic, because everyone that I try to befriend on social media ends up just screwing me over in a way. And I'm so glad that in most cases, they haven't even gotten to that point where they are extremely close to me. They would just screw me over before we even get to know each other that well. So I don't want friends. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to suffer for other people's sins, but child, I've been burned twice. So I'm not about to do it for the third time. So it's very tricky. I don't want online friends. They are weird. People are weird. I've met people that are very envious of me. I feel like that's the problem. I meet people that are very envious of my lifestyle, and they just want to be me. They just want what I have. I've met people that would just go on my profile and they would literally follow every guy that I follow and follow back. They will literally follow every guy that's on my following list. Like, why are you doing that? That is so weird. Like, how do you go to an account that's private, you request to follow a guy you don't know, a guy that's probably in Scotland, the guy that's probably in the UK, so a guy that's probably in Japan, for example, and you've never met him, you don't have mutual friends, and you're telling me that he showed up on your people you may know? That doesn't make sense at all. But anyway, so yeah, those are the kind of people that I've been attracting lately. It happened more than once. So yeah, we're definitely not going to do that again. Okay? I'm sorry. Just maybe give me time to heal. Then maybe we can, mend something together. Maybe we can work on something after I've healed. For now, I'm hurt and I need to heal. Let's let this wound dry a little bit, okay, before we even go there. I love your style. What inspires you? Oh my gosh. What inspires me is Nikki Sky. I've got her on Instagram, but I also follow her on YouTube. I absolutely love her style. She is one of the best dressed people for skinny bodies. Yes, she is skinny as they come. And I absolutely love her. I wish I could get as skinny as she is. I'm obsessed with skinny people. She inspires me a lot. And there's also this other one. I think her surname is Hadid. Oh, Alicia Hadid. Oh my God. That lady knows how to dress. I'm going to put her Instagram right here. Let me tell you something. I follow that lady and I copy her style. Literally, I copy. Even Nikki Sky, I copy. I'm not going to lie. I've been copying Nikki Sky since 2018, but this one I discovered last year and I've been copying since. Honey! Because wow, and she's only 26 years old, so that's insane. All the questions from the normal Instagram are finished. Now we are going to the anonymous ones. All right. How come you have a boyfriend but you are still on the apps and going on dates? Is it arrangements, not relationships, basically? Guys, we're not going to talk about my relationship. I don't care who you are or whatever. We're not going to talk about my relationship right now. Who are your exes? Why do you want to know my exes? That's weird. Why do you want to know my exes? Do you want to date them? One thing that I'll tell you for sure is that they don't have money. I finished it. So please don't go there. Don't waste your time, okay? You can research who my exes are, but just know that you won't find any guap because I finished it. Has it been Tinder, Gold, and Bumble all this time? Guys, I got blocked on Bumble many years ago. I got blocked on Bumble in 2021. So it can't be Bumble. And then next thing, Tinder. I have only been on Tinder Gold twice in my life. So it's not Tinder. I'm just not going to tell you what app that is. I'm not going to I told you guys, wait for me to get married first and then we can talk, And also, I'm not going to tell you for free. For free? It's going to be on a Patreon or something. You're going to have to subscribe. You forgot to make a story time about the Noe guy years back. What story time? Because my ex was an amazing person, so there's no smack to talk about him. So we're not going to talk about my ex. He's a good guy, and I don't know what story time you want to hear. Like, there's no story time about the Norwegian guy. There's zero story times about him. What do you love about myself? My skin color, and my nose, and my lips. Oh, and my eyes. I'm just obsessed with myself, okay? I absolutely love my skin color. Like, I'm obsessed. Like, I would never wish to be any other skin color. Look at that. Butter. African butter. Oof. I love my skin. I love my skin color, okay? That's the one thing that I'm super obsessed with. Oh my gosh, I forgot I was wearing a mic. The next question is, are you in a relationship or are you just dating? What's that supposed to mean? Anyway, we're not going to talk about relationships. Like, at this point, it's becoming redundant. Any plans to have another baby? Baby? Me? Do I look like I'm about to become a mother? Do I look like I'm about to take care of an infant? Please now. Child, if I have an infant, who's going to travel? Guys, if there's one thing that I'm proud of myself for is having a child when I had him at the time, because now I have the freedom to do traveling. Imagine me with a 3-year-old right now. Ooh, terrible threes. No, actually, we start on pregnancy. Imagine me pregnant right now. Oof, child, I'd rather die. Imagine me pushing a baby out at this time. No ways. I can't imagine myself doing it again. I'm sorry. One is enough. One and done. That's it. They don't need to be mad. Imagine me paying more than one school fees. Yo, guys, life is expensive. One thing about having kids, they will tax you financially and physically, emotionally, physically. Peace of mind does not exist when you have a child, because you can't afford to be, depressed. You can't afford to, just be out of it. You can't afford to just stay in bed for 5 days nonstop, because I used to do that. But yeah, you can't afford to do a lot of things. Like, it's taxing. Having kids is taxing, not only financially, but my body as well. Oh my God, I work so hard to get my body back. So please, let's not even go there. The next question is you and the rich local Mlungu that helped you buy the apartment in an open relationship? Like I said, I want to sing this like I'm a bird. We're not discussing relationships. And please, there's a fine line between asking me a question anonymously and being disrespectful. Do you know that I could literally pay for this thing to show me who you are? You should be ashamed. Anyway, the next question is, what kind of job were you doing in Norway? I don't want to talk about it. None of your business, okay? And that's it. That's what's up. Since you're being blunt, I'm also going to be blunt. It's none of your business. All right? The next question is, what are your plans this weekend? Guys, I don't have plans. I'm just chilling at home with my son. Those are my plans. I absolutely love hanging out with my son. Like, with my boyfriend, like, sometimes I do go out, but then on most weekends, like maybe let's say 3 weekends out of 4 in a month, I'll be indoors with my son. And that could go on even 4 weekends out of 4 weekends in a month. I could be at home with my son. Like, I go out maybe once after 3 months or once after 2 months or so. So I hardly ever go out. I'm such a homebody. The next question is, maximum age gap you would allow in a relationship. To be honest with you, I would not recommend anyone to date a guy that is more than 15 years older than you. Yes, 15 years, I could do that. I would certainly do that. Just because I feel like if I dated someone my age, I would not respect them. I would easily disrespect them. I am very disrespectful. I can be out of line, especially if you don't have money. I'm sorry. In order for me to be respectful to my man, I prefer an age gap that is up to 15 years or 10 years. Yeah, those are my vibes. Those are my kind of guys. I like a man in his 40s as long as he owns a house and he owns more than one car. Because what are you doing in this life with one car? You better have one car that's, your everyday car, and one car that's like, oh, we're going on a date kind of car. Yeah, so that's my kind of vibe. I don't like, I would never date a 28-year-old. Well, the funny thing is that I have 28-year-olds in my DMs. I have 20-year-olds in my DMs. A 21-year-old, literally, in my DMs. But you know what? I would never date them, just because I prefer my guy to be older. I prefer a little bit of gray hair here and there. Not too much, not the whole head being gray, but like a little bit of gray hair here and there. Because I've got one too now. I've got a gray hair, guys. I've got a gray hair over here. I think I'm being stressed too much, but yeah. Anyway, the next question is, I adore you. I think more black girls should travel and experience what the world has to offer. How do you go about traveling to these lovely countries? I honestly don't know what you mean by how do you go about traveling to these lovely countries. Do you want to know how my experience is while I'm there, or do you want to know how I get to travel there? Because if it's how do I get to travel there, it's that I go into an app called cheapflights.com, and then I search for cheap flights, and then I compare which airline is cheaper. And then sometimes I also go into my bank. Sorry about that, my memory card was full, so I had to change it. Anyway, I was still saying that sometimes I go into my bank and I search for different flights, and they will give me different offers, and so I will book the flight, and eventually I will apply for the visa, and then they will grant it, and then I board a flight, and then I travel there. I'm sorry. I just don't get your question. I'm sorry. I don't get it. You know, maybe I just lack logic. Just let me know. If you don't mind, you can come back and elaborate, but I didn't get your question. Anyway, the last question is, when are we going to see each other again? It's been long. Honey, if we know each other, why are you texting me on anonymous and not, you know, my actual messages? You know, you don't have to go anonymous if we know each other. But anyway, I don't know who you are, so I don't know how to answer this. I guess we'll see each other when we see each other again. It's been so long, like it has to be someone that I haven't seen in a very long time, which is insane. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe down below. And also don't forget to follow me on my social media platforms. It's at Tsonga_doll on Instagram. It's at Tsonga_doll on TikTok as well. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're here to stay if you're new. So please don't forget to subscribe. And also hit the notification bell so that you can be notified each time I upload. Thank you guys. From me to you, it's only love. Bye.